Okay, cool. So, anything to start? Does this sound good to everybody so far? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Um, my full screen. Let me know if you are seeing this.
Yep, it's showing.
Okay, cool. So, okay, over here on the left, these are the first couple exercises. You can go ahead and boot up your virtual box if you haven't already. And these exercises are just kind of review from last class and the class before, I think. So things like add a new user named student one, delete the user student one, and then create a user teacher with a specific home directory and shell. So does everybody have VirtualBox like up and running already?
I am trying to mine just started. I think somebody else said this, but every time I start mine, it like errors out and then I have to
Oh,
restart it again a couple times. So I don't know what that's about and it's not high stakes, but it is weird.
yeah. No, I get that. That's annoying. Well, we can hang out until they're ready.
I think I'm in.
Okay.
Go ahead and yeah, don't let me hold you back.
No, 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 you're good. Um, do you all want some time to try these on your own? Or are we in a place where it's like I don't remember the commands? Because if you're there, I can just go through them now.
I will probably have to look them up, but I was just gonna try to look it up like
Yeah,
and see if it works.
cool. So let's take like we'll take like 5 minutes. I'll call you back when the time's up and just try and go through these. And I have an answer key. So like if you can't get it, we'll be going over all of these. So yeah, like 5 minutes. Okay, folks, so I'm just gonna scroll down to the answer key. Let me know if I'm ever going too fast. But I'm gonna go through these three exercises, and then if you have questions, we will take them. But yeah, so adding a new student, I'm just gonna do it over here in the terminal, but you can also see the answers in red underneath it. We're adding a new user. Oh, I already made one when I was doing this earlier today. So we're gonna make student 2. There we go. And then I like to check if it worked, which I think you can put in this one down here. Oh, this one down here at the bottom, that's the faster one. And then you can kind of see right here, um, it says student 1 and student 2 because I put them both in. The one above is kind of fancier, which I like because let's see, it just I actually didn't like me. One second. Okay, so that time it worked. So anyway, uh sorry, okay, this first one right up here, just makes it nice and neat so you can kind of see it without all the other stuff, but they both work. So anyway, once you add the user, that's a way of checking to see like, oh yes, I see student 2 there, like I actually have the user. And then to delete the user, it's user del, and then I'm gonna delete student 2. There we go. And then if I want to list it again, so yeah, so then you can see if you actually deleted it. Okay, and then we're here on the third exercise, create a user teacher with a specific home directory in shell. So again, we're using that sudo kind of because that gives us like the most permission and all the commands are gonna go through. We have home, put in that direct, oh, I can't see because of Zoom. And I see the hand, one second. Okay, well, mine did that because I already tried these exercises earlier and teacher already exists, but it should work on your end. So, Kara, you can ask your question.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. So, I got caught up sort of in the part of the exercise where um I went to add a password, which I guess wasn't really in the prompt or whatever, but I just intuitively like went to
Hmm.
add a password for the new user. And I typed in something that I forgot, whatever. I couldn't replicate it. So then I got stuck in like, I mean, I guess it's not a loop, but it kept being like incorrect password, incorrect password. And I was wondering like how do you break out of it?
Yeah. In Okay, so when I did that once, and what ended up happening is I just put in like something random that wasn't the password, and
Mhm.
then it got me out of it. But maybe Sasha knows like a better answer than that.
Yeah, you can try using Control C if you're on Windows or Command C. I think it's on macOS.
It just says bad password, retype password. And then it said password is a palindrome. So that's, I don't know. That's not true.
Uh, so that you got that prompt when you did the Control C or the Command C?
Mhm. Command C, I did. I'm on a Mac, but
Hmm.
and it okay, so it said you've exhausted the maximum number of retries for service. Password
Okay.
unchanged. So it just like ended itself anyway, but I would just be curious about like how to sort of hit escape like in the terminal when you're doing something wrong. My second question was I know we've used this command a couple times, but I'm still not remember her saying that cat equals concatenate, But
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand when we use that to look and see, like, what we've done and, where the new users are. I don't really understand what's happening, and I was wondering, um, Lynn, if you are like, "Oh my gosh, these questions aren't relevant to me." I was just kind of asking questions because it's a smaller class today, and so I, thought it might be okay. But please, if you are, like, suffocating, just let me know and I'll pipe down.
No, I'm fine. Go ahead. I mean, I have just learned to do these things. I don't always know the whys, so the whys are always good.
And we love
I
questions.
yes. The cat command is it's printing whatever is in a file. Um, so when we do the cat, what is it? Cat forward slash, is that forward slash etc slash pass WD, it's printing the contents of that file on the screen so you can see what's in it.
And which file is that? The
The
pass.
etc, yes, the pass WD.
Oh, okay. What does the ETC stand for?
That's a good question. I actually am not sure, but it's a directory
Oh,
that has other folders and files within it.
okay.
I don't
Well,
remember the
I'll
what
poke
it
around.
stands for.
I just looked it up and it says it just contains configuration files and directories. And
Okay.
it just
That
it
makes
just
sense.
means like etc.
Okay.
So yeah,
Thank you.
totally. Are
You're
there
welcome.
any other questions about these couple exercises? Do we want a little bit more time to do it now that there's the answer key? Okay.
I'm happy
Okay.
moving on just because, like, I'll try them
Perfect.
later.
This is definitely a smaller class, so I'm open to like whatever works best for you all or whatever you like need right now. So feel free to make it your own. Okay, so the next set of exercises, again, I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes. If you don't remember the commands or can't find them, I have the answer key, so don't sweat it. But change the password expiration date for a user, modify the default shell for an existing user, and add the user student1 to the teachers group. So 5 minutes, and yeah, then I'll pull you back.
And will we be talking about system monitoring today if there are fewer people and everyone is sick?
Let me check
Or
the topics and I'll tell you,
okay.
because I don't quite remember what's in this whole document. Okay, so Kara, I tried to answer your question in the chat about what we're going to be going over today. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, if there's other things that you want to talk about at the end of the exercises, like I'm happy to. So let's go to the key for these exercises.
So I'm
Um,
sorry, are we repeating last week's session? Are we going to do system monitoring? What won't we cover in this list?
yeah, totally. So the last exercises and these exercises are kind of based off things that we did cover last week. And then after this, we're getting introduced to new commands. So there's commands about permission and let's see ownership, managing groups. So there's 3 new commands that we're learning, and then we're playing around with exercises with those.
Okay, will we be reviewing system monitoring just on the syllabus? Like, are we going to do that at some point, or system
Yeah,
monitoring and
so
maintenance?
yeah, totally. So I would assume that anything that was supposed to happen today that couldn't happen today because Marilla isn't here, we'll be covering next class or in a video that she's sending out to everybody. Um, I'll definitely double check that with her and say like, hey, we really want to cover this. But yeah, I don't think she's dropping anything just because she isn't here. I think today is like a smaller version of what she wanted to teach, and the rest of it's gonna come later, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Totally. Okay, so exercise 4, change the password expiration date for a user. Okay, so the command there, we have sudo and then chage, like change without the teacher. It didn't like that. I don't know why it didn't like that.
That's a -L.
L, okay. Oh, I see. It just looks
Yeah, it
like
looks like a 1.
yeah, because of my font. Okay, well, here we go. Here we go. Cool. So this is showing you the current settings of the password. And then we can change it. We're gonna do -m 90, so that's 90 days. There we go. If I rewrite this one again, will it show me the new? Okay, well that's the first one, the first exercise. Then exercise 5, modify the default shell for an existing user. Sasha, is this on the doc correct, or is it CSH?
Where am I?
Is
Z.
exercise?
Yeah, it should be Z.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, it didn't like that.
Suitable. Okay, sudo user mod. Let me try it on my end here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it worked on my end.
Is it working for everyone else?
Yeah, it works for me. It's so weird. Oh, wait, no. User mod -s, then excuse me. I'm not sure why it's not working on your end. Has
Okay.
anyone else tried to execute this command?
Yeah, it's not working for me either. But I'm kind of feeling like I might just kind of study on my own or something. I kind of need to have an understanding of like what these commands are doing and why they're called what they're called. Like I can't just memorize them. So maybe that's just the way that I learn, but I don't want to hold everyone up.
That makes
That's
sense.
fine.
I
I
mean,
can.
we have the time to explain it. So, I mean, I as we're going, I feel like maybe Sasha could jump in and talk about some of them.
So this user mod command is essentially modifying a user or certain characteristics of how a user's account has been set up. So I believe the default when you use the user add command, um, the shell by default is bin sh, if I'm not mistaken. And so in this example, um, for using the user mod command, the -s, that's a tag, which represents the shell. If you do, Jillian, if you do user mod space -help, if you do this, if you add -help to, I believe all commands, you'll get something like this, which explains all of the tags and what they're doing for you. So if you go down to -s, so you can either use -s or you can write -shell, write it out. Um, and it's changing the user's shell. So we're in the bash shell right now, but there are multiple shells that exist. For whatever reason, I'm not sure the Z shell is not working. Can you try CSH instead of ZSH?
Can you say that one more time?
Instead of writing bin ZSH,
Mhm.
replace the V with C and see if that one works.
So like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure why this isn't working, but um, if it did work, it would change the user's shell from bin bash or bin/sh to the new shell that we're dictating on the command line. Does that make sense, Tara?
The help thing is helpful. Is the language that we're writing in Bash the shell language? I don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure why that command isn't working. But the user mod help can show you, like Sasha was saying, all these. So I'm going to move on to exercise 6, but stop me if there's more questions. Um, so add the user student 1 to the teachers group. So if you did the other exercises, you deleted student 1. So you have to make another student 1, which is the user add, and then whatever name you want. And then it looks like the next command we do sudo user mod -ag or -ag. According to this note, this new command, the -ag ensures that student 1 is appended to the existing groups of teacher without removing any previously assigned groups. So maybe Sasha could like kind of like tell us what this stands for, or if she wants to explain it more.
Yes. So if you do can you cat the etc password file?
Yeah. after I run this, or delete it and do the other one?
Delete this and run that one first.
Oh, I messed up my document. 1 second. Wrong screen.
So when
Okay.
a user is created by default, a group is created with that name. So, oh, but you did the
Yeah,
can you create student 2?
yeah, absolutely.
Then you'll see what I'm talking about.
So yeah, right here.
Okay. So by default, when a user is created, a group is also created for that user with the name of that user. So the user mod command to add student 2 to the group teacher. I think it's the group first, if I'm not mistaken. So teacher and then student 2. Okay. So if you were to run, yep.
Right here.
Yes. So on that line, teacher is the name of the group. And now we can see that student 2 has been added to group teacher. Another way that you can see what groups a user is associated with or in is by running the command. I believe it's group or groups, and then student 2. It might, yeah. So
Cool.
here we can see that the user student 2 is a part of group student 2 and also a part of group teacher.
Perfect. Are there any questions on that one? Okay. So I think the next one, okay, so these are 2 new commands that we are going over. I could just read it, but Sasha, I feel like you could probably explain this better. Would you mind like talking on them about them for a couple minutes or
Sure.
however?
Yep, I'll do my best. So chown stands for change owner. So when a file or directory is created, it has an owner. So in this case, if you as user Ubuntu created a file, you would be listed as the owner. And I believe the group owner would also be Ubuntu, which is the group that's created for your user. So we use this command to change the ownership of the file or the directory. I'm trying to think of the context. So let's say a file is created under root. That means that the the user root is the owner of that file or that directory, and also the group owner of that file or directory. If we wanted to change it so that Ubuntu or student 1 or 2 was the owner, then we'd use this chown command. And also, so CHGRP, which stands for change group, does the same thing, but only specifically for groups. So with the chown command, you can use it to change the user ownership or the group ownership. With the chgrp command, it's specifically for the group ownership you're changing. And I believe, what was the last one? Can you go down?
I've put that one later because
Oh, okay, okay,
just like separate it out. But
okay, no problem.
cool. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the chat just for reference. And I'm also gonna put up these 3 exercises. So I'll give you 5 minutes on those. They're using some of the new commands, so like take your time and don't feel like you have to know it right off the bat. But yeah, same thing. I'll just give you 5 minutes and then we'll go over them all together. Unless if anybody has questions, go ahead and ask. Okay, friends, that was around 5 minutes. I don't know if you're feeling like 5 minutes isn't enough time or too much time. Just like drop it in the chat and we can adjust. Okay, here is the answer key, and we can go through this one step at a time. So create a new group called class and add multiple users to it. So we have sudo again is that command that's just like giving us the permission to do everything. Group add is what's going to be our command to create the group. And then class is the name of the group. I think I might already have one. Yeah, but we could probably add. Okay, so that's adding the class. And then we're using that user mod command again. And the I forget what the AG command stands for, but the one right here that
Append to the group, just adding them to the group.
perfect. And then with class, I'm adding it to class 2. You all are adding it to class 1. And then we'll put our student 2 in there too. So, Sasha, is there a way to check that? Like, is it the cat command again?
You want to check if the user was added?
Yeah,
It's groups and then student 2. Groups with a S and then student 2.
perfect. Yeah, I just like those because I like knowing whether or not it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else is like that, but the line comes up blank and you're like, what did I do?
Yep.
So those are that's exercise 7. Nothing crazy new, but kind of building off that stuff. And then remove a user from a specific group, sudo g password. Sasha, could you explain that one, the g pass wd?
Give me a second. Okay, here's what we can do. If you type, oh,
I can
can
type
you go to the, okay, man,
man.
space, and then G pass WD. What this will do is give you an explanation of the commands. What
That's
it's
so cool.
doing. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
called the man pages, and I mean it gives you pretty much every detail you could ever want on the command.
And you can do that with any command.
Yep.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat because that seems super helpful.
Yes.
And
Sorry, I
then
didn't
I'm
mention
also
it
doing
earlier.
no, you're fine. I'm learning too. So. Okay, cool. Administer group. Okay, so this command is used to administer. Every group can have an administrator. Cool. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get out of your queue. There we go. Yeah, I hope that's helpful if you're wondering like what exactly that command does. But if we want to remove a user from a specific group, this is what we're gonna put in. The -d is for delete, and then username, that's student 2. What group did I just put it in? Class 2. Cool. I like that one because it actually tells you that it did it. So that's cool. Cool. And then I'm gonna do exercise 9, but if there's any questions, feel free to change the group owner to a file to a newly created group. So touch, if I remember correctly, is the way to make the new file. I'm not gonna name my new file because I think I already have one in the system. So I think I'm just gonna name it like GDI text. And then this helps us like actually see that it's there. And change owner is that new command we just learned. And that's going to help us, or
I
that's
think
going to
you
make it.
typed in, I'm
What?
sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I think you typed in ls-1. There should be a L for
Oh,
list. Yeah,
I keep doing that. Thank you.
I think you did it again.
What?
There you go.
Okay, there we go. There was
Yeah.
muscle memory.
So
Better?
here, yep. After that one, you can see the user owner, and then the second Ubuntu is the group owner.
Awesome.
Just an
Oh, so
FYI.
this one's the group owner.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then we're going to use that new command to, sorry, I'm trying to remember my group name. Is it class
Ubuntu.
2? Oh, okay. Fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. The new group that you're moving it to, right? Sorry. You're right. Class 2.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I was right. So we're putting in the new group and then the file name and then make sure that's an L.
Oh no, of GDI text, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was the sorry. That was the one. Okay, so ignore these two. But you can see before that it was here, Ubuntu, and now after the new command we learned, it's in class 2. Okay, and so that's with the first new command we learned. There's also this other new command. So the change group. So I put it in like class 1. And then cool. So I hope both of those made sense. But we just did the same thing with the two different commands. So first it was in Ubuntu, and then we used the change owner command and put it in class 2. And then I used the change group command and put it in class 1. Are there any questions about these 3 exercises so far? Okay, I hope that like the commands are getting explained a little bit more. Let's see what else. Okay, this is the final new command for the night. Sasha, if you want to talk a little bit about this.
So chmod, I say chmod, but stands for change mode. Use this command to change to change the permissions or access to a file or directory um on a file or directory. Sorry if that sounds crazy. So can you do ls space -L?
Just ls hyphen
Yep,
l.
yep. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, you're good. I thought there was more. 1 second.
Okay. So, for example, on the latest file that we created, the GDI txt text file. Okay. So at the very beginning, where it starts with RW and then there's that dash.
Mhm.
I'm trying to explain this the best way I know how. Okay, so the first hyphen represents a file. So if you look at the videos folder, it starts with a D, which stands for directory or folder.
Mhm.
So the line for the GDI text file starts with a hyphen, so we know that's a file, other than looking at the fact that it ends with txt. The next three characters, read, write, and then a hyphen. So RW and then a hyphen. The R stands for read. The W stands for write, and normally there's an X, but in this case there's a hyphen. The X stands for execute, which normally relates to like programs or like if you have a script, an executable script or something like that. The second set of three characters also has RW and a hyphen, which stands for read, write, and then other. The hyphen represents other. Anyone other than the user group or the, excuse me, not the user group, other than the user or the group owner has no permissions, meaning they cannot write to the file, they cannot read the file, and they can't execute on the file. The last three characters, there's only an R there, which stands for read. And that means others outside of the user and the group, they can read the file, but they cannot write to the file or execute it. So RW and what would be X also have numbers that are associated with it. So read will always be the number 4, W will always be the number 2, and X would be 1. So there is a symbolic way, when I say symbolic, I mean using letters, of representing the permissions on a file. And there's also a numeric way in which you would see numbers instead of letters. So on the left side of the screen, where it says Chmod 755, over a little bit. Yep. So that 755 is the numeric representation of the permissions on the file. And how you get 7, 7 means that read, write, and execute are permitted. If you have a 5, that means that would be 4 and 1. So it would only be reader and execute. And if you only have an X, then you know that there's no read or write permissions, but there's an execute permission. Can you go down a little bit?
Why are they represented this way?
I don't know. And I don't want to like butcher an explanation. I just know that there's definitely documentation out there that goes into details as far as why it's set up this way. But I don't want to do you a disservice and try to explain it here. Sorry. Jillian, can you scroll down a little bit on the page? I don't know if there's anything else.
This is the end right here, the
Okay.
order.
Okay, so yes, the order is always owner permissions, group permissions, and then other permissions. And we use the chmod command or chmod to alter the permissions of a given user or a user group or others, like outside of the user and those in the user group. And if you want to, you can also use the man pages on that chmod, chmod, just to get a better explanation.
Oh yeah, there's a lot here.
Yeah. The answer to your question, Kara, might be in the man pages. Just an FYI.
In the what pages?
If you do MAN, if you type MAN and then space and then the command CHMOD, you get an in-depth explanation of the command and all of its uses.
Okay.
I think it's kind of really cool how they did this with the 4 and the 2 and the 1 because you can never get like the same sum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just really cool. So I'm going to dump this in the chat, but like Sasha said, you can do man and then the command if you want the one straight from the program too. But I'll put that in. Okay, so it's too long. I'll put it in a second. I'm gonna also scroll down to the exercises for this and give y'all some time with that, unless anybody has any questions about this command. There is a lot to it, so if there's any questions. Okay. We have plenty of time. These are the next 3 exercises, and then there's only 3 after that. So, if there's other things you all want to talk about, or if you have questions about things, please please don't hesitate to ask. We will try our best to answer. So yeah, here are the next 3 exercises, and I'll give you some time with that. Okay, friends. I gave you a little bit more time with that one because just a new topic, probably let you play around with it a little bit. Here's the answer key to these ones. I'm gonna try typing them in. So I think I already have a new file, so I'm gonna do a new file too. And Sasha, if you see me doing something wrong, please let me know.
Do the first command first. So do the touch new
Oh, this
file to
okay. Okay. I had a feeling, but then I just went for it. So that's it.
and before you do that,
Yeah.
do the ls space hyphen l so you can see the before. And then
So this is it right here, and this is the permission right now.
yep.
Okay.
Yes. And right now you're changing the permission so that looks like user will have read, write, and execute permissions. The group owner will have read, write permissions, and other would have only read permissions.
Awesome. And then we want to look at it again. Great. So you can see here the changes. We have that execute here now. I think that's the only thing we really changed.
Let me see.
Between the
Yeah.
two.
Yep.
Awesome. So that's exercise 10. Now we're going to change the permissions of an existing file to allow read and write access only for the owner. So that same like command we just learned. And then so we leave it blank, right? Or
There's a typo. It should be G equals O.
oh, like 0?
Oh no, erase the O next to G. Equals O.
Oh, sorry. Got it.
Yep.
Let me just fix that over here first. Everyone has the right. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this for the second one. Okay. And then we're just gonna list it again. Cool. So now it's read and write, but not execute because we only wanted it to be read and write for the owner. And the first 3
Yeah.
are the owner.
Yep.
So
The user.
perfect. Okay. And then exercise 12, we're gonna do a symbolic notation, modify the permissions of a directory without changing the existing permissions. So same command. And then what directory name do you like any of these?
Yeah, or we could create a new directory and then move that new file into the new directory and then execute
Okay.
this command.
Do you want to walk me through those
Yep.
commands?
So you're gonna do mkdir to
Yeah,
make a new directory.
cool.
Whatever you want to call it.
We'll call it GDI.
Okay. And then we're going to move a new file into the GDI directory. So that would be mv. Oh, you might have to use sudo. I'm not sure. mv new file 2 and then GDI, the folder name. capital. So now if you CD change directory into the GDI folder and do the ls list, okay, our file is there. So now we see the permissions that are on this file. Now you can change. I'm not sure if you'll have to go outside of the directory or if it can execute it within the directory, but you can try. Yeah, so you have to come out of it. So if you do CD, change directory, and then 2 periods, it just brings you back to the home directory. Okay, so yep, the folder. So we can see that
This
on
is
the
a
GDI folder, yep. The user owner, which is Ubuntu, has read, write, execute permissions. The group owner, which is also Ubuntu, has, what is that? Read and execute permissions. It does not have write permissions. And then other also has read and execute permissions.
perfect.
And it should not have changed the permissions that the new file 2 has.
So do we go in and check that?
Yep. CD, yep.
And it looks like this is the
Should be
same
the
as,
same.
yep, it's the same.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. Are there any questions on any of these exercises so far? Well, we are going to do the last 3, which is about ownership of a file. I will give you, like 5 minutes to do these, and then we'll go over the answers. Okay. So it's getting dark here, you can kind of tell. Let's do the last three in the answer key. I'm just going to clear my screen out. Okay, so change the ownership of a file to a different user. I'm going to look at probably the one we've been working with. Okay, so this says that I'm in Ubuntu right now, so I am the owner. We're gonna use the change owner, the chown command. And I think that I made a user last time. So I'll put in student 2 because that's who we've been using today. And then it should show me. Awesome. Okay, so you can kind of see here how it started out, that it was in the Ubuntu user, and then using this new command, change owner, that we learned today, put it in a different user's ownership. Okay, then we're going to change the owner of a file to a different group. So I'm going to do this again. I already did this first one. So we'll put in new group. Trying to remember one of the groups that I did. I think class 2. Okay, that's awesome. So you can see how it changed group. First it was student 2, and now it's in class 2 because that's what I put in. So for you again using the change owner, but with the different syntax, it's the group instead of the user. And Sasha can correct me if I'm wrong. And then exercise 15. What?
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Awesome. Thank you. Exercise 15, last one. Make sure the user teacher owns all the files and directories in their home directory. So we're gonna go in and put this in. We just have to minimize this really fast. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to read this straight from the slide. If there's questions, I'm sure Sasha can answer them, but the -r option ensures that the operation is performed recursively, meaning it will affect all files and directories within the specified directory and its subdirectories. So that's making sure that they own all the files in their directory, in their home directory. So this should go through, and then Sasha, do you know how we check that? Am I listing something?
You should be able to try. Are you able to log in? Did you create a password for the teacher? Did you create the teacher using the add user command? Do you remember? I don't remember. If so, you should be able to log in.
Yes. I mean, I remember giving the teacher a password, so I think so.
Okay. Try SU
SU.
Space hyphen space teacher
Okay.
and
That's switching the user.
whatever. Yes.
Oh, now I have to remember my password, the tricky part. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. There's a way to check in another user without exiting where you are now, but I don't remember how to do that.
Okay, no worries. I mean, it went through, so I'm assuming it's fine.
What you can do, maybe try ls hyphen l.
Or go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Go back out of the GDI folder. So, yep. And then do the others. Okay, so right now you can see that for that new file.txt, student one is the owner, the user owner, and the group owner. If you rerun that chown command, but use Ubuntu instead of teacher, we can see if that specific file changes, and that's how you know that it worked.
Awesome. And that's the same thing like this.
Yep.
And
So
then,
now if you rerun it, it should, yep. So here you can see that that new file.txt is no longer the student one, but it's now your user and your user group.
perfect. Okay. Are there any questions about these last 3 exercises or anything else that we went over today in class? Or other random questions? Okay, I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Actually, it's gonna be really dark if I stop screen sharing. So, anyway, I'll just say, one sec, let me put this in. Okay, well, that's all we have today. So I guess we're getting out half an hour early. Kind of cool. I'm going to put the exercises in the Slack channel so that anybody who wants to practice them or do them can have access to that. And I'll also put in those 2 new commands, which are the help commands and the man commands, which will just help people like see kind of what the commands are about if you don't know. I did talk to Marilla and she said that there's going to be a makeup session for the stuff that we were supposed to cover today on the syllabus, but we didn't get a chance. So that will come. And yeah, thanks so much for coming. I think that's everything. Okay. Okay, we'll see you all on Tuesday.
All right, see ya.